Now, lastly, we just need to deal with the groups. Now, there are a lot of different ways that you can, make your files organized, but groups definitely are a great way. Artboards, of course, are fantastic, but within artboards themselves, you might still need to separate things out. So, for example, the fact that I have all of these lines, if I want to group them together, that would be a good way to make my artboard smaller in number without having, when I want it shorter. So what I can do is hold the Shift key down and select the top down to the bottom. And then if you go up to your menu area, you can say either new group, or in this case, since they're already selected, do new group from layers and simply name it lines. And that way all of your lines are together. You can turn the eye on and off. They all work in unison. It works out great. Now, I'm asking for 2 groups. So inevitably, of course, I don't have another shape here, correct? So what I could do is go ahead, do my obligatory other one. Going to put that on a different spot. It's trying to push it inside. Make that super, super quiet and underneath. And that way then I could call these two, put all those 3 together. And again, say new group from layers. And call it shapes or clipping mask or whatever you would want to. But that way you've got your required 2 groups as well as your pieces in here. And again, remember that I would like these labeled. Now, when you make your shapes from the shape tool, it labels it itself, right? You can see it calls them ellipses. This one did not. If you had a lot of photos, it would be more important that they're separated out. But for my purposes, if you just want to name it photo, that's fine. Or more specifically, I might put her name in there. That would make more sense. So just make sure that all of them are labeled somehow. Text is text. It doesn't need to really, you can see it's text, and it comes up with the text that you type, so you don't really need to worry about that. Okay, so now that should do it. Now when you're done here, again, you're going to need to save this as a PSD. You're going to need to save it as a JPEG and as for the web. So don't do like I did and just save it now. Make sure you've saved this multiple times at the beginning. And I'll just call this Photoshop Project 2. I did not mean to do a TXT, that's a PSD. Alright, so that one is saved. I just hit save, sorry, that was at the bottom, you couldn't see that. So I will take that file, and then you can do file save as, which it's still saving. You can see down below that it was still saving. Do another file save as, and save this one by changing the extension to JPEG. See if I can get this to go up further. So here, choose JPEG. You can see the extension has changed. Hit save. That's fine. You could do a larger file though if you're going to print it. And then finally, you can either do export as a export as, or you can do the save for web legacy, and you can decide which version of this image is best. So none of them are going to be little because this is a big file right now. Okay, so to get this to show up more, you can see how large this is. I will need to make it significantly smaller. I'm going to make it 600 pixels. And I hit the tab key so that it accepts the change. That's more doable. That's something I could maybe see online. And then of course now I can say done. My apologies, you can't see the word done down there, but right underneath here it says done, and then you could go ahead and you don't want to hit done though. There's a save button that's right under here, even I'm having trouble seeing it. So you'd hit save, and then you'd have your save for web version. And that would be what you would turn into me for the grade. For just the critique, please only turn in the larger version of your JPEG.